welcome back to another Con Todo de Todo episode. Today we're going to be doing a Consejos de mis Coaches, and I am joined by
Juan Blanco from the HSI Excellence Program, Success Coach.
Thank you, Juan. Today we're going to be talking about stackable degrees and switching majors. So Juan, I want you to give everybody a little introduction on who you were as a student, what you're doing now.
So basically my background is I was a STEM major originally at Estrella Mountain Community College. I kind of saw myself in STEM and then going to U of A and then working at like CVS or something on a pharmacy. Nice. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, so I didn't really like have a plan really. That's kind of just like what I thought the natural progression of like a pharmacist was. But then slowly after that, like once the pandemic kind of hit and everything got switched to like at home taking classes, I really started to like struggle with the classes I was taking. Like I just felt super, kind of like it was a hassle to do it. I didn't feel like the passion that I had beforehand because I had always liked school. I like learning. I like learning new things. And when I started pharmacy originally, it was very interesting to me, like all the different aspects you could do, learning all the different medications and things. But as I delved more deep into it, I realized like it was really more just that early stuff that interests me. But once I got into like the nitty gritty of the things I had to do, it became very like dragging and it made me start to like not like school. Okay. So that's kind of was like, I think I got to like switch out, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So what made you pick STEM pharmaceuticals to begin with?
So originally, both my parents work in pharmacies. They both work in the billing departments, but they work alongside pharmacists. So I kind of grew up there. That was like my first quote unquote job. It wasn't really a job though. Like I just went and shadowed people. So seeing the pharmacists interact with each other and just like how they spoke with doctors, they spoke with patients throughout the day was really like what got my attention early on.
Nice. So you said during the pandemic was kind of when you started to have a mind shift. What made you like start looking into other career paths?
I think the biggest thing was, I can remember a day vividly. It was like 9 a.m. I woke up, I had an assignment due that day at midnight. It was anatomy. So we had to cut out like papers of our, like draw out our hand and then label like all the fingers and all the bones and stuff. And I remember sitting there like about to start it and I was just like, I can't, like, I don't like this. It was like such a thing that I couldn't do. And it was more so like my heart wasn't in it, you know? And for me, I've always been big on like what I want to do, like I have to like it or else I can't put in 100% effort into it. Yeah. And leading up to that event, I really felt that like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do because like I just wasn't in it. Yeah. So a couple of days after that, I knew I was like, no, I have to
switch.
Yeah.
Nothing like a project or an assignment to switch your mind, because that's kind of how it started with me. I went in my first semester wanting to do psychology, and then I was sitting in a CPD course, and we were supposed to do a project on like the career path that we were choosing and just doing all the background work. So I remember hearing everybody introduce themselves and saying they also want to study psychology, and I was like, oh, this is too similar to everyone, which is fine. That's great. But there was always like something creative in the back of my mind that was always like peeking out and like shouting like, hey, think about this. So I ended up doing my assignment on interior design and I did all like the research on it. And I was like, this is more interesting to me than what psychology might be. I can help people. That's like the main goal that I wanted to do. And you help people in any career field. So what did I want to do? Did I want to do the creative route or did I want to like sit and do what I guess the word is conventional, I guess, in helping people. And I chose the creative route and I studied that and I'm glad that I did that. So when you switched your major, what did you end up switching to?
So I ended up doing business. I think, and this kind of goes back all the way to high school, because you know how in high school, like you take your classes, like everything's done for you. So you're not really thinking about it. Yeah. So I remember like I was never really that, like into high school. Like I just did it. But realized my first semester at EMCC was like, I'm paying for this stuff now. So like I have to be more mindful of the decisions I make.
Yeah.
And I think that too was like something that I took into consideration when I picked business, because I feel like in life, there's always business going on, like negotiations, deals, with everything. So I landed on business, just general business at EMCC. And then when I switched over to ASU, I did business sustainability, just because I've always had, or I developed like that passion for like the environment, how we can help do better and stuff like that. Yeah.
What about sustainability stood out to you?
I think it was the fact that by definition, sustainability is how can you reap the benefits of the earth while not diminishing them for the future. And that was always the biggest thing for me, was like, how can I get out what I want in life, but there'll still be things left for my kids, grandkids, stuff like that. So it's always been like about efficiency and how I can be better and do things without wasting so many resources was really what got my attention at the start.
Yeah. So now 2 questions. So we'll go with the first one. When you were switching, what was the process like in terms of like at school, changing your whole program, but also even explaining to your family that you're switching?
You know, that's like the biggest thing. That's like the scariest thing. And I feel like that may be what people will stop them from doing it, is really what their family thinks. Because as a first gen student, like you want to make sure you get it right, because you're like the example for like I have cousins, so for them. And I remember talking to my dad and he said, well, yeah, do what like you want, what makes you happy. And I've been blessed, like they let me do whatever I want as long as it's like something attainable, something achievable, and like realistic. So when I explained to them that I wanted to do business, they were pretty happy. Just because they even noticed too, like I was very much like down when I had to do my science classes, because like science has never been my thing. It won't be my thing ever. I think I failed like 3 science classes at Estrella.
It happens.
But yeah, so with them it was cool. I remember speaking with Adriana, who's my boss now. she kind of guided me through it because she was a business major. So she kind of like eased my like anxiety and nerves at the beginning, just because like I got to like get an idea of what I'm in for. And I think especially at the community college level, taking advantage of like all the courses they have and being able to, before you get to the university, you're just focused on your core classes and your electives like that. It's better to do it at the community college than at the university. Switch over.
So at the university, you're just getting your bachelor's in business, or are you adding any degrees or minors to it, certificates or anything? Because for me, like I did mine in interior design, but I got my certificate in interior design event management, and I kind of stacked them both. So are you doing the same thing with sustainability and business?
So the way that it works at ASU, I don't know how it is at other schools, but when you look up business, you can take a business class, but then they'll also have like business accounting, business sustainability. So like they're together. So I'm learning the basic core classes of business on top of like 2 or 3 sustainability classes that just give you a basic understanding of what it is. But you can stack degrees. So for me, I want to work on project management. So like for sustainability projects. So I might end up going back and getting my certificate or going to one of the colleges here to.
Yeah, we want to highlight that a bit because students don't tend to know that you can stack degrees and the benefits of it, especially if you have your mind in a couple of different areas. You never know how full circle it can all come back. For instance, like I mentioned, I studied interior design, and that was great. I was really happy that I ended up studying something that I was super interested in. But now as I have finished my degree and I also got my certificate in event management, I never realized that I was actually going to end up doing something with events. So that's where it came full circle. But now as I'm thinking about my education moving forward and wanting to go back to school, studying something that now caters to like the logistic mind and serving this still, I'm thinking about educational leadership, which is very different from what I originally studied, but the benefit is that it's useful anywhere. And I always have something else to go back to. If I want to go back to interior design, I could do that. If I want to teach within the colleges or within a university, those two can go hand in hand. So for you in business, how do you see that working for you?
Well, to really quick from what you said, and I think that's true, like as you grow up and you get older, you find new opportunities and you find new things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to like diversify and like have multiple things that you can go back on
Mm-hmm.
is important, because we're all going to change. Like we're
Yeah.
all going to have different interests at one point,
Yeah.
versus how we used to think. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that it's helped me is it just has given me the ability to like open up the world to business
Mm-hmm.
and meet new people at ASU and here, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like with business, it's not just like that, but there's also like personal development, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, like how you dress, like
Mm-hmm.
bettering yourself, how you speak, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like the new avenue that business opened up for me, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't have known that had I not taken that risk. And I think
Yes.
that's like the biggest thing, is like you want to take that risk.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's scary initially, but it's going to come out worth it in the end, I think.
Yeah. You kind of just answered my next question. What's advice that you would give to students, or working with students? What's something that you often see like within like your meetings with them? Are there any like common topics when it comes to switching majors, or like letting them know the fact that they can stack majors or look in other avenues that they might be interested in?
A lot of the students I speak to now, I've noticed they're getting their bachelor's now that they offer that
Mm-hmm.
in behavioral science.
Yeah.
So I really think everyone's really like gravitating towards the bachelor's, which makes sense because like it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just say, like how I said before, like take the risk, because that time's gonna pass regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well be doing something you love to do, and like worry about the money. Like it's not always all about money.
Yeah.
Because to me, another thing with pharmacy is like I just wanted to like get paid $100K a year, you know,
Yeah.
like that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I realized like my heart wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be like making good money but being miserable, you know.
Yeah.
So with business, there's like so many different avenues.
Yeah.
So I would say like if you're focusing on the money when it comes to what degree you should pursue, like you're already off to a bad start.
Yeah.
Like find something that you truly want to do, and then
a good balance between
Yeah.
the two. And then like if you enjoy it, they always say like you're never going to work a day in your life if you
Yeah.
enjoy it. But then there's other avenues as well to expand how much you make.
Yeah.
So yeah, I often get conversations with students about they've already started and have gone so far, they've come back to school and they don't know what to do with their degree. They've lost that passion for it. I always go back to telling them, yeah, like you can study something else, and this is probably the best time to do it while you're here, because it is a lot more affordable to maybe make that mind change and take a different class in a different field of interest, and then get your exposure. But you don't know how it's going to come back full circle, so it's better to take the risk.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, yeah, go.
No, I was gonna say I have students who are like older who come back and they haven't been at the community college since like 2006, 2007. And I'm like, you're not that same person anymore. So it makes sense that you don't want to do nursing or whatever you picked. So take the time now and like grab a hold of your education, like take it serious. Like one of the things I say that I regret, and I would say like to students, is like take it serious now, because the decisions you make now are going to affect you in the future for sure.
Yes.
So
nice. Thank you, Juan. I think that pretty much wraps up today's conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and please leave us some topics that you would like to speak of, or like us to speak about, and we'll touch those topics next time. Thank you.